Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together. Hey guys, welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. Yay!
Ooh, it's Friday.
How are you
Is it
doing?
Friday?
It is Friday.
Is it? I hope
As long
so.
as you don't mess it up again.
I hope not.
So we actually don't have one, but two Freaky Fauna today.
What?
It's actually more about the relationship. So our first little Freaky Fauna is the narrow-mouthed frog.
Okay.
He's a micropterids type frog.
What's that mean?
They're just tiny. They're little
Okay.
tiny frogs.
Micro. Micro.
You could fit probably about 4 of them on your thumbnail.
Oh, okay. So they're really the narrow-mouthed frog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're not exactly the superstars of the frog world, but they are really a specialized species. Do you want to hear what they do?
They chirp.
So there's over 570 species in this family group in Africa, Madagascar, America, and Asia. Oh, the Americas and Asia, I'm sorry. They actually have a fun symbiotic relationship.
With who?
Tarantulas.
Oh, spiders and frogs?
Some of the biggest species of tarantula in the world.
Okay.
And this relationship has developed in Peru, India, Sri Lanka, and some parts of South America.
Well, that'd be Peru still, right?
The other parts of South America, like the Amazon rainforest, they kind of just pop up around. Like Peru is a country where it's very common.
You're right. So is Peru? What would you say? It's Sri Lanka?
In India.
In India. Okay, so kind of spread out across the world. This has happened?
Yeah, pretty much when either of these two family groups occur,
They're like friends.
this system pops up.
Yeah.
So this tiny little frog is often, 1/500th the size of the spider or even smaller.
Okay.
So they're tiny little frogs and gigantic spiders. They develop a very close relationship, a very caring relationship. Do you want to guess the symbiotic relationship?
I'm guessing the frogs ride on the spiders.
What do you think the spider gets out of the relationship?
Maybe the frog cleans off any parasites that are on the spider.
That's a good guess. Now, what do you think the frog gets out of it?
Protection.
That's a good guess. What if I told you you're half right?
Okay. It's better than being half wrong.
Mm-hmm. So you got the frog side of the arrangement right.
Did?
He's getting protection from the spider.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that part was easier.
What's the spider getting out of it?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe the frog. I don't know. Maybe the frog catches flies. No, it's too small. I don't know.
Keep in mind, this frog is about 100th the size of most of the things the spider's hunting.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It could even most of these frogs are so small the spider could swallow it, and they have tiny little mouths.
Okay.
So yeah, they're not they're just not big. Now, so these guys actually protect the spider's eggs.
Ah.
So all these little parasites and stuff that get them and infect spiders' eggs, these little tiny frogs are really good at eating. The spiders can't catch them.
So I was half right on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And the stuff that kills the spider's eggs, the frog protects. And in the frog side of it is they get a gigantic bodyguard that most things don't really want to mess with.
Right. Yeah.
So the crazy thing is this relationship has popped up with dozens of species across the whole planet. Pretty much when either of these two family groups, true tarantulas and small or narrow-mouthed frogs, pop up, this relationship always kind of happens.
That's pretty neat.
So there's between the dotted humming frog and the burrowing theropod tarantula, Theroposis tarantula in Peru is probably the most famous one. That's one you see pictures of, and there'll be like 4 or 5 of these tiny little frogs under the spider the size of a dinner plate.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's not the spider that pops up out of the ground and gets you. Okay.
So it's just funny. Like this, we said the spider is easily capable of killing and eating the frogs of any size, especially these guys. But they put chemical cues to help recognize the frogs.
Ah.
So these frogs they pretty much complete their whole life cycle around the nest of these tarantulas.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes young spiders have been observed to grab frogs before they metamorphosize fully. They examine them with their mouth parts and release them without being harmed.
Aha.
So they keep putting the chemical pheromones on their body on their frogs to mark them.
Okay, so that's like, these are my frogs.
Yeah. So in case they grab them by accident, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, no, put this back down. And they've been seen to actually, like, because spiders will just kind of instinctively grab
Right.
and they'll rip them. And these frogs just sit there and take it the whole time. They know they're not going to get eaten. The frog also benefits because it's a very small frog and it's loved by snakes and other arthropods like centipedes.
Oh, our nemesis.
Well, I love centipedes. But the spider gains the benefit once again from protecting. Ants are a really big deal for these spiders' eggs.
Like ants will kill them.
Like they eat the eggs. They
Right.
just take they'll take a whole nest in a couple minutes.
Mm.
So these little frogs are really good at eating ants.
Ah,
And the spider's really so big it really can't deal with the ants effectively.
right. Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, that's kind of this this cross thing. You've seen there's pictures of like there'd be 4 or 5 frogs in the back of this tarantula, and this tarantula's just walking around its burrow and its den
And
with
they're
them.
just chilling on the back.
Mhm. Like here's you can see a young tarantula in this picture I'm
Yeah.
showing Jay is actually grabbing a pre-metamorphosized frog to take back to its den.
You can't even hardly see the frog.
And this is a baby tarantula.
Yeah.
So this frog is just getting out of the water right now and he's like, mine.
I'm almost shocked that there's, you said over 500 species of these micro frogs.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that was a thing. You ever had a micro frog like as a pet?
Yes.
Really?
So we had African reed frogs,
Huh.
which are smaller than these guys.
What? What'd you do with them?
So people make like biotopes and stuff like microbiotopes.
Okay.
So you could put these little frogs in there, and you'll have 8 or 9 generations of them a year.
That's awesome.
That's
Wait,
what we sold them for.
Feed them ants and stuff?
Oh no, those guys. The reed frogs are too small for ants.
Could you even see them?
Wingless fruit flies is what they ate mostly, and that's called oh my gosh, springtails.
What are they, the size of ants?
No, they're like the size of a big fly, like a house fly.
Okay. Okay, still. That's so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sweet.
Any questions so far?
I mean, what a interspecial relationship.
Dotted humming frogs have also developed this relationship with actual burrowing spiders. So you're talking about your trapdoors.
Yeah, I like those guys.
So it's popped up all over the place. It's just weird that it keeps popping up. It's
Who would have thought frogs and spiders?
right. Symbiotic relationships can be really odd,
Yeah.
but it's just odd. And why I love this one so much is it's dozens of species of spiders and hundreds of species of frog,
Yeah, they're all doing it.
all
together.
doing it across the planet.
Right, yeah. That's the amazing part, too.
So they're actually re-examining some fossil evidence now of some things like we found, like the Jurassic Cuttle.
Uh-huh.
Did we talk about that on this show?
Yep.
So this is one of the things that point to it maybe being a symbiotic relationship, and they're not actually killing each other.
Or not
Is
actually
that-
cuddling like...
No, that they may have been cut. Like they may
Well,
have
yeah,
been
I see what you're saying.
that there can be these predator-prey relationships that look like that from the outside,
Right.
but when you really examine them, the spider is quite protective of its clutch of frogs.
It's almost like, well, it is almost like, but it's not because they're both sharks. But like those, what are they, nurse sharks or lemon sharks that have the little sharks that swim under them that aren't even theirs? You know what I'm talking about? Or maybe it's not other sharks. Maybe it's just other fish.
Remoras.
Is that it?
Well, no, there's all kinds of sharks that swim with schools of fish.
Right. But one's
Pilot fish often hang out with immature great white sharks to guide them to food sources.
see?
So pilot fish are kind of suck for other fish
Yeah.
because you see this little black and white striped fish pop up out of nowhere,
Uh-huh.
look at you, and then take off. And what he's doing is he's going to get his great white shark buddy to lead him to you.
Oh. But there's but they're both fish. But
Yeah. No, so this is really crazy because the vertebrate is like the pet in this group. There's been some videos of what even looks like that these frogs are being pet by these spiders.
Really?
And what it is reapplying the pheromones and stuff like that.
No, I like the thought of he's just.
But it looks like it, you
like,
know.
hey, bud, rubbing his head down.
So this relationship, biologists like to argue, if you haven't learned from this show, if this is communalism or if this is mutualism.
Or if it's indentured servitude.
That's more communalism.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's just communalism is it's a phenomenon where species strike up a relationship that benefits one, but really has no cost or benefit to the other. And then mutualism is both parties benefit.
Well, this might be mutual, right?
We're not really sure.
Okay.
It's odd. I think
Yeah.
it's mutualism personally,
Because you
but
get
there's an argument to be made for communalism.
right, yeah, yeah. Because if frog wants to leave, the spider's like, okay, done.
They don't really. I mean, the frog's not thinking that far ahead.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't never put my own thoughts into a frog's head.
These frogs are very simple creatures. I mean, you've seen like they're like a little bigger than like our tadpoles.
Yeah.
That you see for toads and stuff in local ponds.
That is pretty freaky.
No, so yeah, are narrow-mouthed frogs. No, so I just think it's a cool thing that keeps popping up because everybody sees these videos, these giant tarantulas even like carrying these little frogs around, and they'll go steal them.
That's pretty funny.
So the tarantula often builds its den near the frog's nesting ground as well. These little puddles and stuff that pop up in the rainforest.
Yeah. So once they come out, it's like, come to me.
Well, no, they'll grab them. They just grab them.
Oh, okay.
That's what that picture, that young tarantula dragging that one back to its den.
Yeah. Just come
That's
back.
what he's doing.
You're going to live here now. Watch my eggs.
And then some of the species will have like 14 or 15 of those little frogs in there.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That kind of almost makes me want to get a tarantula and those frogs together.
I don't know if you could do this in captivity.
Captivity, you don't think so?
No,
Because I guess
relationships don't really work as well because of the stressors of being in captivity.
Right, and then there's no really danger of something
Tarantulas
eating
are
their
very
eggs.
shy and stressed. They get stressed out very easily.
So you'd almost have to have like a fake predator come in every now and then. Like,
And then there's some talk that even the tarantula may have started using them as lures too.
Oh, to bring other food
Prey
in
for them.
Makes sense.
Imagine you being this centipede or this little bird.
And you see these little
And
frogs.
you're like, oh man, there's a lot of frogs in that little hole.
Let's go get them.
Let's go get them. And then you pop in.
Giant
There's
spider.
a spider the size of a dinner plate snatches you.
Yeah. It's what they say. If it's too good to be true, it must be. It runs through all of nature.
It runs through all of nature. Well, that's pretty much been this one. So what's your word of advice for this one?
Oh, to end the show?
Mhm.
Well, winter's coming, and remember to button up, wear extra layer of clothing if you have to, if you get caught out there, when it's coming. But enjoy this time of changing seasons and leaves falling off the tree. I witnessed one today on my drive here. Just watched a leaf, pluck itself from the tree and fall to the ground, and it's just that time of season. Enjoy those leaves changing. Observe all the colors in nature.
So there's this weird little gap of weather I enjoy.
Like
and
right
then
now?
I'm very hateful until the ice comes.
Until the ice comes?
'Cause
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
an
the ice fisherman, duh.
So I hate winter until we get to actual winter.
Till it's
I hate
cold,
that
cold.
middle stuff.
Yeah,
The slush.
I was going to say that. Sludge.
I just want one way or the other.
Right.
Either
yeah.
stay warm enough where I don't need ice fishing or freeze hard
Yeah.
so I go ice fishing.
We need another blizzard.
I don't want to say that. I don't like snow.
Come on.
Ice.
Well, all right.
But it's like when it's like 45 degrees at night and during the day, sometimes it hits 70, which feels like we're sweating.
Yeah, I know.
And we think about 2 weeks ago and we're like, it's 100 degrees. And you're like, oh, well, it's just 100 degrees.
I know. I put a sweatshirt on today. I'm like, do I need this? I don't think I do.
It's the contrast, I think, is what's really bad.
Okay.
Is that, it's so cold in the evening that like when you go out to your car in the morning,
Yeah.
it's super cold. And then by afternoon, it's actually raised 40 degrees.
You're back in your shorts again.
But it's, it's not hot out per se, but
by any
it's
means,
raised 40 degrees.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I've been the Great and Powerful Mystery.
And I've been Jay.
We'll catch you next week with more Freaky Fauna Friday, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review